This is a CLK55 AMG. Hand-built V8 over 360 brake horsepower, and when it was new it was a £70,000 car. Now I love these. My dad had a CLK when we was young. It wasn't an AMG, but it was still 320, which was a pretty good car. This one though has seen better days. We've got front bumper, it's cracks down here. Same thing with the rear bumper, that's damaged as well. The wheels are looking worse for wear, so we're going to sort them out, and to be honest it looks fine at the minute because it's got water all over it, but the paintwork is in dire need of some improvement. So today I'm going to try and bring this thing back, repair the bumpers, give it a decent clean, get the wheels refurbed, and make this something you'd be proud to drive. First things first, let's strip this car down. Starting with getting the wheels off and the front and rear bumpers. A few bolts later and the front one's free. Onto the rear one, and that's when I noticed my first little issue. Right, so as you would have seen, I've been trying to get this bumper off. There is a hidden bolt in there. On this side, I managed to get to it because I can get to it quite easily, but we've got loads of electronics here. It's basically a big fuse box, and the bolt is right behind it, which is an issue. And if I can't get it out, it means the bumper won't staying on the car and I'll have to paint it on the car, which I don't really want to do. I want to get it off, paint it off, because you get better finish in these bits, and the bumper needs it really. You can tell it's been painted before because there's lacquer and painted on the car, so I want to get it off, do a proper job of it, but we need to get to that bolt first. So I stuck my head in there to see if I could get to it, and luckily I could get a spanner just on it. I mean, that has got to be the hardest bolt I've ever tried to get to. Right, so that there is the bolt. Now, luckily, I've got it undone and it's right on the edge, but the bumper has actually come loose. So, without trying to get that in there again, I can just leave it there, which is obviously going to be better. So, I'll leave that bolt there with the bumper loose, and then obviously I'm not going to have the awkward task of trying to get it back in because it's already in the hole slightly. Let's get the bumper off. After a sigh of relief, I continued removing the bumper, just a case of getting the electrics out and taking it off completely. That is both bumpers off. First thing we need to do is strip this one down. Grill out, plate off, lower grills out. Now, these chrome trims. In an ideal world, I'd take them out, but I feel like they're going to be so brittle, the plastic, because it's quite an old car. You know, 05 plate, it's a 20-year-old car. I feel that they're just going to break the second I try and take them out, so I'll mask them off and they'll be fine. We've got down here on the bumper. Obviously I showed you already where it's been sprayed before. We've got the lacquer peel up the top. In fact, there's a bit of lacquer peel there on the back. And then this one is going to be the worst one by far. We've got stone chips all over it. It's a front bumper. But we do have this crack here. So we need to try and sort that crack out. But trying to overcome how I'm going to do that, because I'm not quite sure at the minute. And then obviously just repair the damage on the bumper. So after my tea, I'm going to strip this bumper and then we'll prep them both for paint. And of course, being a 20-year-old car, this number plate screw didn't want to go anywhere. So I used the pick tool to get some sort of bite with the screwdriver and then managed to actually get it out. Then it was just a case of removing the other three and the number plate pin itself. Then onto the fog light surrounds, 3 screws and they're out. Put the bumper. What's that off? That's literally hanging on for dear life, that thing. Really? This is a problem when you're on your own. Yeah, that didn't exactly go to plan, did it? But once I had the bumper sorted out, I took out the lower grille and the fog lights themselves. So the first thing I want to tackle on this bumper is this crack here. At first glance, it doesn't look too bad, but it has actually split all the way through the plastic. So to repair it, the first thing I needed to do was open the crack up using the grinder and the Dremel to remove any weak material and give the repair product something solid to bond to. Next job was to prep the whole area with 80 grit, then repeat the process on the front side. It might seem strange making it worse before you make it look better, but it's the correct way to do it if you want the repair to last. Right, so as you can see, I've made a groove, found filler and got it to a level. I would plastic weld this, but we don't have this plastic, so I'm gonna mesh behind, bumper glue, and then plastic fill over the top with the plastic filler. Should come out nice and it should look fine. The nice thing about the plastic filler is, of course, it will be able to flex. With the crack prepped, I reinforced the back of the bumper using a mesh backing and 2-part bumper adhesive. Well, after I'd put masking tape on the front so I didn't let it all seep through. Why the mesh? Well, it acts as a skeleton to the back of the repair, helping to spread the load over a larger area rather than concentrating it all on the crack itself. Hopefully that means that the repair stays repaired long after this video is finished. Once the glue had cured, I could move on to rebuilding the shape on the front side. First of all, prepping the area ready for filler. Because bumpers flex, I used plastic filler rather than standard body filler. It's designed to move with the bumper rather than becoming brittle and cracking later on. Whilst the filler was drying, I cracked on with prepping the rest of the bumper so I could get it ready for primer. Just a case of sanding out the damage with a DA and then scotching the whole thing back ready to go. And of course, not forgetting to mask off those chrome trims that I mentioned earlier. Getting the shape back is probably the most time-consuming part of the whole repair. Damage sat right on a curved section of the bumper, so there wasn't a single sanding block that would do the whole job. It took a combination of different blocks, hand sanding, and a lot of patience to get it looking right again. Okay, so put a skim of filler over it and I've done the repair behind. It's 90% there. Basically, it's nice and smooth here, which is good. We're smooth around here and even along that edge there, although here we've got a low spot. So I'm gonna have to run some filler here, and then just in here, we've got another low spot here, which is annoying because it's right in that bit. It's really hard to sand. but we got another low spot there, so another little skim and knock it back, and we should be looking really nice. Then we can scotch the bumper up, and then this one is done and it's onto the rear bumper. So again, in with some more filler, and whilst that dried, I focused on the rear bumper. A lot more straightforward than the front bumper. It was just a case of repairing the damage and prepping the whole bumper ready for paint. However, there was one little thing that I wanted to do before we went into primer, and that is the black plastic diffuser trim, which is quite clearly no longer black. It is a very faded grey colour. So I thought, whilst we're here, I'll get the rattle can out and I'll spray that satin black so it looks nice and fresh, ready for the finished car. And on to primer, one of my favourite parts of the process, because it's the first time you get to see whether all that effort has actually paid off. And thankfully, the repair disappeared exactly as I hoped. With the biggest challenge on the car finally dealt with, I could move on to preparing the rest of the bumpers ready for paint. After what felt like hours of sanding, filling and priming, both bumpers were finally ready for paint. This is always the stage where the project starts to come together, because all of the repair work is hidden underneath and you finally get to focus on making the car look good again. The colour on this AMG is Capri Blue, and matching a 20-year-old metallic paint isn't always straightforward. The colour itself might be correct, but you've got years of weathering, polishing and sunlight exposure to contend with. With everything cleaned down and in the booth, it was finally time to start laying down some colour. Straight away, the bumpers were looking a lot better, and for the first time I could properly imagine them back on the car. Annoyingly so, we have got slight issue. As you've seen, I was putting the base coat on and everything's going fine, everything's going smoothly. I was slightly nervous because I'm not as experienced at painting as Phil. But they look good, but they haven't got enough base coat on them and we've run out of base coat, so I've got to go and get some more, which is annoying. But we'll see you when we've got the base coat and we're actually getting these fully painted. Once we had got hold of some more paint, it was back in the booth to finish the job. With the base coat finally finished, it was time for the clear coat. Now, rather than risk all the work that had gone into these bumpers, I handed the job over to Phil. He's far more experienced than I am, and after seeing the finish he achieved, it was definitely the right decision. The crack had disappeared, the scuffs were gone, and the bumpers were looking the best they had in years. Whilst the wheels were off, I also took the opportunity to clean out the arches. It's one of those jobs nobody will ever notice, but I know it's been done. And to be honest, they look much better for it. With the paintwork all finished, it was time to start putting the car back together. The rear bumper went on first, and straight away the difference was obvious. The lacquer peel had gone, the scuffs had disappeared, and the back of the car looked years newer. Next up was the front bumper. After all the work repairing the crack, I was relieved to finally see it back on the car, looking exactly as it should. The wheels had also been refurbished whilst the car was being painted, and honestly, I think they make a bigger difference than you'd expect. With the wheels back on, all torqued up, new centre caps fitted, and the car finally back on all four wheels, it was time for the most important final part of the build. The paintwork and the wheels were sorted, but the rest of the car needed some more attention. And the first job was getting this gangrene roof back to being blue. After a thorough clean and some protection, the roof was looking far more presentable, and so was the rest of the car. Next came the paintwork. Despite being 20 years old, the paintwork still had some life in it. It just needed some time and attention. As soon as I started polishing, the difference was obvious. The paint regained its depth, the reflection sharpened up, and the Capri Blue metallic really started to come to life. I ended up giving the entire car a 3-stage machine polish before finishing it off with a coat of wax to help protect everything going forward. I was at this for a good few hours, but the result was definitely worth it. While I was at it, I also tackled the headlights. They'd gone cloudy over the years and were making the front look way more tired than it actually was. A bit of wet sanding and polishing later, and the improvement was night and day. With the paint corrected, the roof cleaned, the headlights restored, and everything protected, there was only one thing left to do. And with that, the car is done. Oh, I think this looks amazing. It's gone from a neglected CLK55 AMG to one you'd actually want to drive. If you've enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button and we'll see you in the next one.